Okay, African Revealed came out with a great video here on Mozambique. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this and how it works on the residency program that leads up to citizenship. Now, Mozambique is a country that's located in Southeast Africa. It's bordered by the Indian Ocean to the east, Tanzania to the north, Malawi and Zambia to the northwest, and then Zimbabwe to the west, and Eswatini and South Africa to the southwest. Now, the sovereign state separated from Comoros, Mayotte, and Madagascar by the Mozambique Channel to the east. The capital and largest city is Maputo. Also, folks, if you can help us here, we don't monetize this station. So if you don't mind doing us a big favor and hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen, so Google will get more of these videos out to you. And also give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. And we'll get more of these videos out to people, and we can get the algorithm working our way and getting more people to our channel. Now, Mozambique is one of the poorest and most underdeveloped countries in the world, even though between 1994 and 2006, its average annual GDP growth was approximately 8%. Now, since 2014-2015, household real consumption has decreased significantly, and a sharp rise in economic inequality has been observed. Now, the IMF has had some kind of negative things, and they classify Mozambique as a heavily indebted, poor country. In 2006, surveyed 3/4 of Mozambicans said that in the past 5 years, their economic position had remained the same or become worse. Now, Mozambique was ranked 126 out of 132 countries in the Global Innovation Index for 2023. The 2007 census found that Christians made up 59.2% of Mozambique's population. Muslims comprised of 18.9% of the population, and then 7.3% of the people held other beliefs, mainly animism, and 13.9% had no religious beliefs at all. Now, more recent government survey conducted on by the Demographic Health Surveys program in 2015 indicated that Catholicism had increased to 30.5% of the population. Muslims constituted about 19.3%, and various Protestant groups a total of 44%. According to 2018 estimates from the United States Commission on Internal or International Religious Freedom, 28% of the population is Catholic, 18% are Muslim, mostly Sunni, and then 15% are Zionist Christians. And then you got 12% that are Protestants, 7% are members of other religious groups, and 18% have no religion at all. Now, Mozambique has a population of around 35 million people for 2024. As of 2024, Mozambican citizens had visa-free or visa-free on arrival to access to 63 countries and territories, ranking this passport the 81st best passport in the world. Now, the tax brackets are as high as 32%. Individuals will be considered residents in their national territory for taxes or tax purposes if they reside in Mozambique for more than 180 days in a year, consecutive or interpolated in the same tax year, or if they're resident for a shorter period and or by December the 31st, being the last day of the tax year. Now, Social Security contributions are on top of this figure I just gave you, which are payable by employers and employees on monthly remuneration. The aggregate rate contribution is 7%, with 4% paid by the employer and the remaining 3% by the employee. There's no ceiling that's applicable, so it can go as high as whatever your income is. Now, let me go over how you're going to get naturalized here. Naturalization can be granted to persons who understand Portuguese or another dialect of the territory and have resided in Mozambique for a sufficient period of time to confirm they understand the customs and traditions of the country. General provisions are that applicants have good character, legal capacity, and the economic means to support themselves. Now, applicants must verify a residency of a minimum of 5 years. Besides foreigners meeting the criteria, other persons who may apply for naturalization also include these that I'm going to go over here with you now. The first one is children born in Mozambique to two foreign parents, even if one had diplomatic immunity, if they are still residing in Mozambique upon reaching the age of majority. The other option is the spouse of a Mozambican national, typically having been married for 5 years, but may apply immediately if the spouse is stateless. The other option of getting citizenship deals with children. Children of naturalized Mozambican can get a passport and citizenship there. And also adoptees of Mozambican nationals automatically require nationality upon completion of a legal adoption. Or persons who have provided service to the state may be able to naturalize without meeting language or residency requirements. Now, most of these countries in Africa have a state in the nationality, a stated part in the Nationality Act that pretty much you can go in and if you do something good for the country, they can give you citizenship and a passport. But you need to have a good lawyer. We have lawyers in these African countries that you don't want to just go and give money, because if you do it and it's under the table and it's cash and stuff like this, you can lose your passport later, maybe get fined or put in jail. You want to make this legal. It is legal in the country, but you need to have it where a lawyer draws it up, and you need to make it where the money is not going to some dictator. Okay, this is the key right here. One thing that's nice about this passport too, and other African passports, is if you've got any sort of background problem. See, the fast track programs in the Caribbean now just will not take anybody that has any sort of problems. Almost, they've got very, very strict. I had a guy that he had a full pardon from Canada. That's as if nothing ever happened to you, and they rejected him. We even did an appeal and still got rejected from him. So, but these are alternatives if you've got some sort of background issues. Now, let's look at the dual nationality. Mozambique has allowed dual nationality in most cases since 2004. The main restriction on dual nationality is that the president must hold only Mozambican nationality. In other words, he can't run for public office if he's got other passports unless he relinquishes those. Now, the GDP per capita in Mozambique is it's only $603 US a year. This is the key if you want to have a business and you can get some people that speak pretty good English, that are quality type people. You can get your labor costs really low in countries like this. I've had really good results in Pakistan and the Philippines. If you go to Dubai, you won't see any places but maybe India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and the Philippines where they're hiring people. And they bring these people over from overseas because the labor cost, it can knock your labor costs down 90%. But remember now, when you get a fast-track citizenship program, any type of program, this program is not going to be fast, okay? So you need to have some sort of good passport before you go to something like this in an African passport, because most African passports are not very good, except for there's a few good ones. Seychelles is one that's real good, and Mauritius is pretty good. All the other ones are pretty bad. Some of them are real, real bad. Some of the lowest in the world as far as visa-free travel. But remember, if you go and get a passport, if you want a really good passport, tax-wise and everything, get a passport you know you can get as long as you don't have any silver criminal past. A lot of residency by investment countries don't go by their statutory requirements after the minimum residency requirements have been made, therefore messing up your plans for a passport in a reasonable amount of time. By getting a passport, let's say in St. Kitts or even in Antigua, you don't run into this kind of problem because St. Kitts passport you can get as quick as 4 to 8 months. These African passports like this one here is, you have to reside in it for 5 years unless you do something extraordinary for the country. But that's before you can apply. Doesn't mean you're going to get the passport after 5 years. But also make sure the country that you're applying for has no military requirements to get the passport. Also make sure the tax system that's in place for that particular country is either territorial or has a pure tax haven or doesn't tax worldwide income or investment income. These are countries that have either territorial tax systems, pure tax havens, or non-dom type systems. Make sure if there's a language requirement that you already are fluent in that language before applying, or don't apply. That's one thing that's nice about countries like Ireland, Cyprus, countries like St. Kitts or Antigua. The language is English, and you don't have tests that you have to take in that language to get that passport. That's the key thing. At least in 3 of the 4. Now, Cyprus, depending on the type of passport or the way you're actually going, you might have a language requirement on that. It just depends on the situation. Now, make sure if there's a language requirement that you already are fluent in that language. Well, I would tell you not apply, because I think you're going to be wasting your time. I see so many people that don't get a passport because they can't speak the language. They can't pass that language test. And also verify that if dual citizenship is allowed, if it's not allowed, don't engage in that program. That's the key thing. Governments control you by, if they tell you can only have one passport. You don't want that. You want to make sure you can get multiple passports. And you want to get in a passport that has as many visa-free countries as you can get, but having the requirements I've just mentioned. Remember, a lot of these countries, too, reserve their most lucrative business opportunities, like life insurance, real estate, retail, and other businesses to citizens. So, if it's going to take you years to get that citizenship, you might be barred out of this business opportunity that you want to do there. So you got to check this out before you go there. Also, when you move to a new country where you don't know the language, it can take you 3 times longer to get everything done. I tell you something, that's a real pain in the butt. I experienced that. I would tell you, don't go to a country where you can't speak the language. To me, it's a lot of wasted time. Also, folks, if you're right now making at least $150,000 a year, or have a net worth at least $1 million, and you want to learn how to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 4 to 8 months, do 3 things. Again, hit that subscribe button on the right of your screen, and also the notification bell next to the subscribe button, and you'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And also go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And thanks for joining us for this video, and I look forward to talking to you on the next one. Take care.